Guys, I tell you the most recent haunting story in my apartment.
How often do you have a haunting?
Like once a month or so.
Once a month. Wow, that's
Pre-
high haunting
pretty,
volume.
pretty
Over
frequent.
there.
Usually
Yeah.
it's nothing substantial. Something falls off a shelf. It's like easily explainable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was playing
Well,
Doom.
especially with a cat now, everything's going to fall off the shelf. So.
Yeah, for sure. I was playing Doom 3 the other night, and I had my aim controller out, and I was, I've been playing for hours, and I knew where Tornado was. I knew where, everything was good. Suddenly I felt someone grab the front of my aim controller and push it 6 inches to the right. Like, pull. Serious pull. And I was like, that's freaky.
I'd be very concerned for you if ghosts were real.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
You guys are just no fun at all.
That's it. I know you're clean now, but that's your addled drug brain, Brian.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
Let's get this show started.
Hey, dude, love that.
Hey, you guys, this is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single, I still can't believe it, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome that you're here, but it's also awesome that we're here. My name's Brian Powell from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole, and the guys to my right, the boys, Dave from Dave Station,
I like it. It's different every time, but that was one of my favorite ones so far.
Nice. Excellent. And that guy on the right-hand side of the screen is AJ from The Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, guys? Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Happy Easter weekend. Happy Easter to everybody out there who celebrates it. What is up, man? Heading into the weekend with the Gamescast. Couldn't be more excited. Got some amazing things to talk about. Let's go.
Is it a good Friday, AJ?
I was about... damn it. I was going to take that fucking joke, Brian. Fine. You can have it.
Man, shout out to Ben Schroeder with the $2 tip, says, fill up those PS3 and Vita libraries while you can. It's a very, very sad time for all of us old school gamers. Very true. Thank you, Ben Schroeder. We appreciate your donation. We also agree with you. Guys, so much stuff to talk about today, dude. We're gonna be talking about some PSVR 2 stuff. We're gonna be talking about some games that are coming out. We're gonna be talking about all sorts of things. But first and foremost, we definitely want to tell you, don't forget to join our Discord, man. The link's in the description. That's where we hang out. This conversation happens 24/7. It is a lot of fun. A lot of cool cats hang out there. A lot of new cats recently, so a lot of new discussions. I love it, man. Make sure you come hang out. The other thing we want to make sure you remember is, don't forget, next week is PSVR. April is PSVR AF. That's the name of the event. I keep getting it backwards for some reason. You don't know how many times it took to get it right. April is PSVR AF is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is April 5th, 6th, and 7th. Basically, think of each one each day at noon as a 20-minute state of play that is 100% PSVR focused. It's going to be a little bit of extended gameplay on certain games that are coming out, some developer interviews on games that are coming out, and of course, maybe even a new game or two. We'll see what happens. No promises, because stuff's still coming together, if you can believe it.
I can't wait until we unveil Sirento 2 footage, Brian.
Yeah,
It'll be
great.
Yeah, people are like, Resident Evil 8, Farpoint 2, and I was like, no. I meant keep your expectations way lower than that. Like, don't forget who we are. We're still Without Parole. We are definitely not like IGN or something.
Yeah, so what I'm picturing is like, if it's like a mini state of play each day, we can expect a lot of backlash and disappointment and terrible comments and mean things in the chat, right? No?
Probably.
Is that what you think of?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Good. Yeah.
I'm totally expecting that, and I can't wait. It's going to be very, very exciting. Whew, guys, it's kind of casual Friday here today. We've been trying to keep these short and concise, but I feel like casual Friday is a nice time to kick back and relax and do things old school. And I was wondering maybe if you guys had any things to talk about, any new games you've been playing, what you've been up to, guys.
Yeah, I got one locked and loaded, actually. I don't know if you guys saw, but Ratchet and Clank just got a PS5 update. And I've kind of been wanting to go back and play this for a while, but this gave me a good excuse to. And it's gorgeous in 60 frames a second. It runs really, really well. Already was like a really pretty game to begin with, but it's just so fluid now. And I've just been having a ton of fun with it. So definitely go back and check that out. The only thing is the cutscenes didn't get upgraded to 60 frames a second, so it's kind of jarring.
That's weird.
Going back and forth, because they can still be like 20 or 30 frames a second, even in the cutscenes. And then you go back to like, perfect perfect experience. So yeah, if you guys have a PS5, it's free with the Plus stuff. Grab it for sure.
Cool.
I played some more Doom, Doom 3 VR edition to be
Precise.
specific, and there was I actually finally hit the wall where I was kind of doing the DLC. I started it, and I finally hit the wall where I was like, I need the aim controller for this so bad. I miss my aim controller so much. I'm thinking of you. But one cool thing I did actually get to check out was Jay Meow pointed me to, there was this thing on Reddit, which I'd actually already seen, but Jay Meow kind of forced me to try it out. And it was talking about ways to resolve the scale issue, like the size of the objects, the size of the people. And I tested this out myself back to back by adjusting. If you go to settings, go to the VR settings, IPD adjustment, you can kind of trick it a little bit to where you set it your IPD manually, and you basically, when you're doing the pupils, you make it slightly closer about to where your eyes are. I'll post pictures on Twitter for examples, and the Discord, of course. Join our Discord. Actually, after testing this, it didn't completely make it everything perfect, but I can say that this little trick, setting it to my IPD, ended up being 35. Actually 35 for the IPD.
So just for context, if you guys haven't messed with this, 63 is the default. That's like half 63, of the default.
And mine is 70. So I got it down to 35, and it actually it didn't, like I said, won't magically fix the entire thing, but I would recommend that you try it out. I think it's actually worth the time and effort to go ahead and do that, and it makes everybody not look so super small. Everybody compares it to the Beetlejuice like shrinking head thing. It actually makes it a lot. It actually improves it quite a bit. Not just the NPCs, but some of the level. It stretches it out quite a bit. So it was kind of nice. I do recommend. Just one last reminder though, you have to change it when you want to go play other games, because it'll make other games blurry and kind of messed up looking. I went back into No Man's Sky, and my hands were like the size of tree trunks. It was crazy.
Well, so how long did you play it for, and did you feel any kind of adverse effects? Because I know fucking with the IPD, especially to that degree, could give people headaches. And like
for Doom, it was fine. For everything else, it definitely messed with me.
That's so weird. I hope that they take that into consideration with a patch or something, just because like if you can make it look right by fucking up with your system settings and all that, then make every other game look bad. Like, they got to be able to patch that. People in the chat are like, is AJ trolling us?
No.
It sounds insane. 35.
I tested it out. Like I said, I didn't even want to test it out. And I got, the cats told me, do it. At least debunk it. And I was like, all right. And I tried it. It improved it. It did improve it. Yes.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I will say, Jeff from Future Mental Games sent me a DM last night and was like, dude, he's like, I heard you complaining about this. He goes, I did exactly what AJ is talking about right now. And said it gets things looking pretty decent. He had to put it down like less than half of his normal IPD. So pretty much the same situation you're talking about, AJ. It sucks, man. Like it's irritating because I don't want to have to do that to play one game. We've played 500 PSVR games. No. Never had to adjust it. Once you get it right, you leave it. And then because a developer screwed up on their end, like here we go, we have to like go find a way around, the deal. So, but anyway, thank you guys for the updates. Appreciate that. I know people are going to want to get into this Green Hell Blair Witch Layers of Fear conversation, but I do want to kick things off with a little bit of a viewer takeover question from Jay Meow over on our Discord. It's hashtag viewer takeover. How important do you think backwards compatibility is to the success of PSVR 2? Can the PSVR 2 have a successful launch without being able to play all of the amazing PSVR 1 games in its ecosystem? He goes on to say, on a recent episode of Kinda Funny, Greg Miller said PSVR 2 absolutely cannot afford to not be backwards compatible because people are way more likely to buy PSVR 2 if there's already a ton of big hitter games they can play from day one. Also, he said people already have access to PSVR 1 games through PS Plus or otherwise that can be played on it. They'd be more likely to buy a PSVR 2. So I'm posing this question to you guys just to kind of kick off the show. How likely do you think it is that PSVR 2 will be backwards compatible, and how important do you think it is? AJ?
I think it's
Oh, sorry.
important.
Dave?
Oh, sorry.
I'm just-
I didn't realize. Yeah. Sorry.
Dave?
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. No, I do agree that it's important, right? I think that he's right about everything he's saying there, quoting from Greg Miller, about, like, yeah, people, if they have that sort of, like they had with PS5, the PS Classics or PS Plus Classics collection, where you just got all those games for free, and it gave you a reason to buy a PS5 and check it out and be like, hey, I've got a library of the best of the past generation all ready to go if I'm just getting it from Xbox or something like that. So I think it's important. I think it'll be limited, though, in terms of not every game is going to be backwards compatible. I could see, like in that collection that they gave people, a curated set of maybe first party or like Sony affiliated studios and stuff like that, where they actually take the time to go back and make them backwards compatible by hand and make sure everything works, and say, these are our flagship titles. You can have them for free, or they're playable one way or the other, and you go from there. But I don't think everything's going to be backwards compatible.
Yeah, I don't think everything's going to be backwards compatible either. We'll see what developers do. AJ, what do you think, man?
I'm on the same kind of boat, where, obviously it would be a shame to have to let go of such an awesome library. It would bolster the PSVR 2 library if they had some kind of solution for it. But I think it's going to be about as much as we see with PS4 and PS5 games currently, where we just kind of get some trickling out every now and then that, hey, like he was just talking about, Dave was just talking about Ratchet and Clank. We know God of War just got one. I think we're going to kind of see it a little bit more common with some of the first party studios. Blood and Truth will be ready probably day one, like a Blood and Truth remaster or something. A lot of first party studios I could definitely see taking advantage of. And then there's going to be like a spattering of other ones. But I don't think it's going to be the majority of the library, no.
Yeah. Shout out to Bogey Cat Productions before we go on here with 5 quid donation saying, hi everyone, I can't always watch your shows live. I wish I could because of getting up for work live in UK, or live in UK. He lives in the UK. Got it. I always watch them the next day. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. It's always nice to hear people that are stopping in just to say hi. And then, so future.
Hell yeah.
Hello to future Bogey Cat Productions.
Bogey Cat. And we'll be doing our damnedest to make sure Farpoint gets a PSVR 2 version. Damn right, Bogey.
We'll be doing our damnedest. AJ will be doing his damnedest. I'll be working on that Immortal Legacy update. Right? Yeah, I mean, I hope there's a simple solution. I hope that converting light tracking to inside-out tracking is easier than I think it is. But who knows, man? Who knows? It could be a simple patch. It could be like reworking the entire engine. I have no idea how that works. And so hopefully Sony has a solution for all of their PSVR 1 partners to ease them into PSVR 2. And guys, yeah, how amazing would that be? I don't think it's necessary for PSVR 2 to be successful. I think that when you have games like Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks, that kind of thing, or Resident Evil 8 Village, I don't think people are going to go, well, I'm not going to buy this thing because I can't play Blind Spot, right? Right. It's like there's this huge library.
Successful in terms of, you said successful, but you mean just like backwards compatible?
I don't think backwards compatibility is necessary for PSVR 2 to be successful. I don't know how I worded that. I apologize. And so I think the new games are going to blow the old games out of the water for the most part, and I think we're going to have those that are. We're going to get them so much more frequently, and the quality is going to be so much higher. I think it's going to be we're going to forget about PSVR 1 collection much faster than I think anybody would ever think. I'm a backwards compatible guy. Like, I want everything to be backwards compatible. I want to play all my old stuff on my new stuff. So, like, don't get the wrong message. Like, I want it to be backwards compatible, but I also think, like, we're ready for that next gen jump. And so if we have to make sacrifices, we got to do what we have to do.
With all due respect, the vocal, I think it's the minority. I know you actually would probably actually go back and play a bunch of stuff, but the data shows that just like with the thing, we talk with some of the cats, I'm not going to name them by name, but they're like, oh, this is such bullshit that, there's no backwards compatibility. And they're like, yeah, I'll pick them up. I was planning on picking it up in like a year or two from now. And it's just like, it's like, you have to back it up with actually buying the stuff and supporting it. You support it with your wallet. If you support it vocally, it's not going to that doesn't pay the bills or pay Sony, make Sony money or profit, and that's what they care about. So, I think people are. I'm definitely on team backwards compatibility. I always want as much smoothest, fullest backwards compatibility as possible. But to me, it is more important to move forward, have the bigger games, have the bigger features in the future than having backwards compatibility is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Dave, any last words on this before we move on?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Anybody in the chat? Any last words on this before we move on? Yeah, Gabriel 004, the licensed me out GameCat, kind of actually brings up something that that I kind of think about already. He says if they stopped making PSVR 1 headsets, it is not right that you can't play PSVR 1 games. The fact is like if you have a big collection of PSVR 1 games, you probably have a PSVR 1 headset, and that does connect to the PlayStation 5. It's not like they didn't create a way for us to play those games on PlayStation 5, right? It's just a little bit more cumbersome. You still have to have this old headset hooked up through this like stupid dongle that like Sony had to send you. So it's a little cumbersome, but at least they gave us a way to do it. And I think there's a part of me that's like, did they do that because PSVR 2 is not going to be backwards compatible? I have no idea. I don't know, but I think it's probably time to move on, guys. We have so much more to talk about. In fact, the headline news of the day, or our headline news on our day, I don't think anyone else is talking about this, is Green Hell, Blair Witch VR, and Layers of Fear VR. They're all coming to PlayStation VR. Do we? I think can the three of us at least say, oh yeah, I think that's going to happen.
Probably so. I mean, Green Hell is coming to PlayStation consoles, and on PC they support VR, or they're in the process of building VR support. So yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised.
I am definitely seeing signs. They're drastically different signs, but I've definitely seen signs that point to all three of these coming to PlayStation VR. Yes.
Well, then let's take them one by one. What was the sign that Layers of Fear VR is coming to PlayStation VR?
It showed up on the PlayStation Store, and I think this is actually funny
sign.
enough. I feel like this is the least likely one of the three. Yeah,
that's shocking.
I think, unless they come out and announce it or confirm it. Poker Stars was showed up on the store, and the developers didn't even know that they had plans or were working on it apparently. So
they knew that they were making it. They just didn't know that the listing had appeared. They're making a PSVR version. That is definitely confirmed. They have clarified that since. So
they have clarified.
Yeah. So I don't think Sony's out there just making random store listings. I think that just went live like months and months and months, like way before it should have.
No, but in technology world, you can see there's many different ways that something could accidentally be listed when it's not supposed to. It could be for several different reasons, but yeah, I don't know. Of these three, these are the I don't know, but yeah, the store listing. The store listing that says coming soon to PlayStation VR also says AIM support though. So some of them, so it's not the cleanest of evidence, but yeah. Store listing is why Layers of Fear is speculated to be coming.
I do feel like that one, for me at least, I'm like, that one is kind of proof positive. It's like, all right, this is definitely going to come. But hearing the developers say, yes, this is coming to PSVR, it makes everybody go, okay, I think we're all now comfortable. and they said it's coming, and for the most part, that generally means they're at least working on it, whether it comes to fruition or not. And that actually brings us to Blair Witch VR. How do we know that Blair Witch VR is coming to PlayStation VR?
Bat Chicken did point out, didn't they already release a trailer for Layers of Fear PSVR? There is a trailer on there as well, so that is a good sign for sure. Blair Witch, Dave, do you remember how Blair Witch popped up?
No, I just know it was a timed exclusive for Oculus to have it on their platform, but I figured that was just a timed exclusive because we already have the flat game, right? So
yeah,
Go ahead, Brian.
That was the reveal for Blair Witch actually came from an interview with developers over on the VR Dimension, and this was saying, hey, do you have any plans to bring this to other platforms? And they said, yeah, absolutely, PlayStation VR, whatever, absolutely, definitely. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, that's again, that's all the confirmation I need. I'd say that one's definitely coming. Now, it's so strange, man, because like all of these games are actually being ported to VR and PlayStation VR by the same company, and that's Incuvo. And if you guys have been keeping up with Incuvo on Twitter, then you might have seen, bringing up an image right now on the screen, I swear to you, there it is. So they just posted this on their Twitter 2 days ago, yesterday, 2 days ago. They wrote testing in progress, a little happy face with shades on. It said tagged PlayStation and PlayStation PL, hashtag devlife, hashtag game tester, hashtag game dev, hashtag game development, hashtag testing, hashtag VR games, hashtag VR, hashtag gaming, hashtag Incuvo. So not only is it obviously a Move controller, but they're also talking about testing games, VR games themselves, and these are the guys responsible for the port of not only Layers of Fear, Blair Witch, but also Green Hell. So I'm feeling that it's very, very likely. We can probably take that image down now so we can see Dave again. Feeling that it's very, very likely that they've got the engine up and running for Layers of Fear or Blair Witch, and now it's just like, okay, let's just shove these different games into the engine. The games have already been created, and they're just the ones porting it over. Okay, so how likely is that? Is that just like, does that feel like a conspiracy theory, or does that seem like a likely scenario to you guys?
No, it seems possible.
Of the three, I actually feel like Green Hell is what this tweet was in reference to, because that's the game that they seem to be mainly focused on right now. Mm-hmm. It's going to have a release date, like Dave said. It's coming to what, PS4 and PS5, or just PS4?
Yeah, it's coming to both, and it's got PC VR support coming, and that to me I think is the one to be the most excited about, which I think is where you're going with this, because Blair Witch is already out there. We've heard some mixed reviews, like it's better than the flat game, but it's not like a great game. And Layers of Fear has been around forever, right? This is like an old game that we'd be getting. But Green Hell has some buzz behind it. It looks really good. It's like a survival horror in the jungle kind of. I think it's procedurally generated, or it's like randomized in some way. So like it's got a lot going for it. I think this is probably the one to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. Now, it's Creepy Jar who develops Green Hell, but it's Bloober Team who's developing Layers of Fear, or developed Layers of Fear and Blair Witch. So it's these guys seem like they're becoming the go-to port team for horror VR games. Now, I don't know if we want to take this a step further and say that Bloober Team recently talked about being paired up with an IP that everyone's going to be excited for when they were talking about, we assume, Silent Hill in the future. And now I'm curious to know, if Bloober Team makes Silent Hill, are they going to recruit Incuvo to port that to VR? Like, it just sort of seems like this is this relationship has been set up, and it's just going to be like game after game after game after game.
I'm gonna have to push the brakes here on any Silent Hill thing. Not saying that it couldn't happen, but that is just such a stretch to me. Like, that is like such a stretch. These three games that we're focused on, Layers of Fear, Green Hell VR, and Blair Witch, there's so much evidence. I know I make a lot of crazy predictions and stuff, but really they're based on evidence that I see and stuff that I go, yeah, that makes sense how that could work. Silent Hill is like, that is like the unicorn right now. I wouldn't even begin to imagine that some, no offense against these people, I don't know if I would see this such a big IP being in their hands, even though they did say the hint, but that could be like anything. I mean, they say, oh, it's an exciting IP that, with all the speculation around Silent Hill, I don't think they'd be poking that bear too much.
I'd be like less surprised if it was like a Saw VR game or something like that.
Right.
Because like when they're talking about IPs, they've got Blair Witch,
right,
and they're horror focused and stuff. And I feel like Silent Hill already is owned by a big company that has made games for a long time, and like they probably, I don't know, I think they'd be better off in that sort of horror B-movie kind of area, if they've already got Blair Witch in their pocket. Like that's kind of where it would go, I would think.
Yeah, it also
and
seems
that would
like
sell like fucking hotcakes. If you had Saw VR, people would buy that shit like crazy. I don't think it'd be that
Absolutely.
good, but they'd probably buy it.
I 100% agree, and I think it's a great direction to a great place to keep our focus on. That you're right. It could everyone's excited for Silent Hill, and there's been rumors for about Silent Hill and Silent Hill VR for a while now. So that's immediately where our brain goes. But looking, I can't imagine Konami going, who would be the right people to farm our our this huge IP out to? Is it this team who makes horror games that have been mildly well received? I don't think so. Like I don't think Layers of Fear or Blair Witch have been crazily like over the top well received. I think for the most part they've been like, man, they're okay. I don't think that's the team to give them to. So I think you're making a lot of sense here.
I really have to agree with Dave on that. I was leading up to that. I'm so glad that I passed the torch to you. That you brought up the great point that how good Green Hell looks. It looks the closest thing that I've seen is this game called The Forest, where it
Yeah.
is like this survival. Survival has become one of my favorite things in VR, a genre that I never knew I loved so much, and VR really let me start to see that now, and just all the interaction with breaking coconuts, with like setting traps or whatever, hunting, climbing, all this stuff is so much fun and so immersive, and so I'm very much so going to be keeping a microscope on Green Hell to see how it comes along, because yeah, it's just such a great fit for VR, and I like I said, I think that this tweet was in regards to that. I think the other two might be handled by Bloomberg or something. But yeah, this which there is a connection between the two, of course. But I think Green Hell is what they're testing right now.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the forest, I think that is one we're going to get on PSVR 2 also, because we got a flat version of it on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
But it's a really well received game on VR PC stuff. I think the difference with this one is I don't think Green Hell is like a 4-player co-op online game. I think it's more of a
Single player.
single-player game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we get both, that'll be kind of cool, because you've got one survival horror kind of in a forest thing for campaign folks, and then another one for online multiplayer folks. I think we'll see both, though. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and I do want to say that I did reach out to Creepy Jar last week. Dave was actually telling me, "Hey, keep an eye on Green Hell. This looks really cool." And so immediately I DM'd them, and they were like, "Hey, how's it going? Thanks for reaching out." They're like, "If you're curious about our VR plans for Green Hell, talk to Incuvo. They're the ones making the VR versions of our game." And I was like, "Wow, okay." You just kind of pass the buck a little bit and be like, well, let those guys deal with this YouTuber who's asking lots of questions. But it also confirmed that, like, yeah, these are the guys making the game. Shout out to Donatello the Scientist Game Cat with the $5 tip. Says, which of these 3 horror games are you guys most anticipating? I'm actually going to take this one first. I'm going to say Green Hell because of seeing the reviews for Layers of Fear VR and Blair Witch VR, seeing how they're like average at best. And so I'm excited for the thing that we don't know as much about as far as the VR version. What did you guys? Yeah.
Green Hell for me. I think we've kind of already said that. Me and AJ pretty much Green Hell is the one I think is the exciting thing.
Excellent. Well, games to potentially be excited about. I'm glad to add this one to our maybe it'll happen list. Very, very excited. And the game that we definitely need to be excited about is this next one we're going to talk about, and that is Salmon Max. This is the VR game Salmon Max. We've been wondering if this was going to come to PlayStation VR. Developers, I believe Happy Giant, have been talking about this game for a while, and just this week, I hope I get the right clip. Let's go. Just this week, they put out this footage of their game, about 5 minutes of brand new footage, and also confirmed that it's coming to PlayStation VR as one of the headsets it's coming to. You guys have any love for Salmon Max?
Actually, to be honest with you, no. I played a lot of point-and-click adventures back in the day. I played a little bit of Salmon Max, but I played more of like Full Throttle, Day of the Tentacle, and on it, obviously, what was it? King's Quest and Monkey Island. King's Quest and Monkey Island were the ones, especially Monkey Island, were the ones I played the most back in the day. So love this genre, but don't have don't have an affinity for Sam and Max yet. Hopefully,
Yeah, I never played it either. I know people like it a lot. It seems like it's got a unique sense of humor, and I like the kind of detective beat that it's going for. It's a little different than some of the other adventure games you mentioned, like the point and click stuff. But yeah, I mean, people have always said it's a really funny game, so hopefully they'll just kind of take that sense of humor. And it seems to me like it's a series of like little set pieces where, like, oh, this is the part where you get a gun, and this is the part where you do this little mechanic, instead of like a game. But we've seen stuff like this before that's tie-in stuff that does it fairly well, anyways. Like, if it's as good as Doctor Who, it'll probably be pretty good.
hope it's better.
I hope.
I hope it's better too. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sam and Max actually for me was sort of the tail end of my point and click adventure days. I mean, I loved Maniac Mansion, Loom, and Zach McCracken, Monkey Island. I mean, all the Sierra games, King's Quest, all the stuff.
Space Quest, Police Quest.
Yeah, Quest for Glory.
Now that's why I pointed out.
Yeah, really good stuff. But then as LucasArts started like expanding and doing their like different things a little bit later, and getting into like 3D games and blah 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 blah. This is sort of where I started jumping ship. I didn't play Grim Fandango until later in life. Definitely didn't play Full Throttle till later in life. And when I went back to play Sam and Max, what I played was the Telltale games, and Telltale kind of didn't do a great job, I think, of like IPs or taking over IPs at first. I think they eventually did a great job of starting with like The Walking Dead and Batman and stuff. They did a great job then. But originally, like the Monkey Island games weren't like terribly funny, and there was like a lot of backtracking, and it wasn't fun. And Sam and Max same problem, didn't grab me for all the same reasons. But this is going to be a whole new take on it, and I'm excited to see what these guys do. The humor in Sam and Max is awesome, as Dave was saying. It's like adult humor. Like it's ridiculous. It's like obnoxious, right? And I usually hate obnoxious humor, but it's so like stupid and sometimes adult and sometimes smart, surprisingly, that I'm like, I really like this stuff. So maybe I'll have to go back and play Hit the Road before we get to this.
Do we know, is there like a rating, like an age rating on this? Because when you say there's like some more mature jokes, like is this going to be an MA game, or should we look forward to like a kind of tamer thing? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think there's a rating yet. If there has been one assigned, I'm unaware of it. I would say that potentially because of the humor, it could be like teen, but I think things have loosened up a little bit.
It's not Accounting Plus, I guess.
Right. There's certainly probably not a lot of swearing in that regards.
I'm just really happy, Brian, that you're getting a real point and click adventure versus trying to have to find something that's like inspired by it or something. I hope you get your fulfillment of point and click adventures, because I know you're a big fan of these types of games.
Is this a setup for you to tell me how much you hate Durasane? That's what it is. It's a setup. It's a setup. You're like because Durasane sucks, Brian, and here's a real game for you.
Durasane is the last one I was thinking about, but yeah.
What were you thinking about?
All the other ones.
Like just all of them.
Such as
I can't remember the names. There was a horror one. There was what's the End Dreams one? Not the Witness, the Assembly.
What? Okay, you know what? This is why we don't hang out.
Boring game.
I knew.
Nope.
We're gonna get back to this.
Ooh, The Wolf Among Us was really good. Gamer Chick's got it right in the chat. Absolutely, 100% agree. And yeah, man, the Indiana Jones games. Nihilist Ryan, absolutely, man. The Indiana Jones games were so good. Fate of Atlantis and The Last Crusade adventure games. Oh man, I must have played The Last Crusade one like 100 times over. Loved that. I was obsessed with that as a kid. But this is good. 2021 release date. Sam & Max. This time it's virtual. So let's hope they let's hope they do justice to the series that inspired it. AJ.
Neverhood needs to make a return. What's up?
What doesn't need to make a return?
I said Neverhood needs to make a return for me.
Oh man,
a claymation VR game. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, let's actually we could start making a list of games that need to return in VR, and I think Jumping Flash would be number one, especially for the Easter weekend. I saw a lot of people talking about Jumping Flash in your stream earlier, AJ. And speaking of your stream earlier, AJ, I want to talk a little bit about the Hitman 3 Berlin Easter egg hunt. So you streamed for like an hour and 45 minutes this morning. How'd that go?
It went all right. Apparently, some of the cats said they had a lot of fun, so I appreciate it, cats. But I didn't have necessarily all the results I wanted. It was, Hitman is a hard game to stream when you don't know what you're doing, when you're trying to figure stuff out. It is a very difficult game to stream. But that being said, I was just really excited to check it out. And yeah, they have this free Berlin escalation. Now, from what I've figured out, the escalations for Hitman 3 do work in VR, but Hitman 1 and 2 don't.
Yeah, we've had this controversy in the past, and people told us that wasn't the case, and I'm like, no. Hitman 3 escalations are supported.
So yeah, I got to check this out earlier. As always, it's always a blast to jump back into to Hitman 3. It's such a stunning looking game. Mm-hmm. Berlin is one of my favorite maps in that game as well. There's a couple that I absolutely adore, and that is one of them. But yeah, it's more than just going around looking for Easter eggs. You actually have targets that you have to take out, and they're all half naked bunny men in different color, like they have different color loins on and stuff.
What did they do to anybody that they need to be?
Oh, they're just dancing around having a good time. They didn't do anything. Yeah, usually you kill bad guys, and these guys look like they were just having a good time. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like you're describing a character in a Yakuza side mission, not a thing you would kill in Hitman 3, like a guy dancing around in a skimpy bunny outfit. Doesn't sound like a typical target in a Hitman game, but they can get pretty silly, so I'm not that surprised.
But yeah, it starts out and you just follow the white rabbit, and it taunts you, and then that ends up being like, your target at the very end you got to take out. And I did everything except for take out the white rabbit at the very end. I got really close, so I spent a lot of time messing around trying to get creative with the kills, because that's the best way to play. But I felt like my stream suffered a little bit because you spent so much time trying to get creative, trying to do the best way that I usually like to experience the game versus just going in there and kill. I did kind of rage and turn into, I will say, holding an axe, dressed in a like yellow bunny suit and running around with an axe at night was a pretty awesome feeling. I think it's like something Brian would love in terms of being like a horror fan. Like, it just felt like I was the bad guy in a horror movie, just going around hacking everybody apart. It was a lot of fun.
Kill them all, AJ. Kill them all. Me and Hunter were in the chat trying to convince you to kill everybody.
Hunter, every single time.
Yeah. You're way too stealthy, man. You play the game properly. You do as expected. And I'm like, no, where's my machine gun? I need to mow down everybody in the club.
I don't like to be detected, and I like to get away clean.
Excellent. So
Brian's mentality is one of those guys must be a bunny rabbit. I'll just kill them all, and we'll figure it out afterwards.
Right,
Let
absolutely.
God sort them out.
Like God sort them out. That's exactly what I was thinking. So the stream was an hour and 40 minutes. Is that how long it took you to do everything, or is because people were saying it's relatively short? Is could you spend more time doing this, or could you have done it faster?
I could have both. I could do it faster. I could have spent more time on it, having fun with it. If it was me. I don't think it's designed to be you spend a bunch of time on it, but again, I like to get creative. That's the most rewarding thing, and I was just having a lot of fun. So yeah, it probably shouldn't take that long if you're just trying to accomplish the missions. But if you really want to get the most out of it, you probably can spend some more time with it for sure.
Well, so it's interesting to me that it's a Easter egg hunt in the Berlin level, just because when I played the Berlin level in VR for the first time, I didn't know where the fuck I was going. I felt like I was on a scavenger hunt for what the mission even was. And that's the one where I got stuck, and it took me forever on stream, and I was getting frustrated. Like, where the hell are these guys?
Yeah.
Did it feel like that? I mean, is that the reason they put it in Berlin, or is it?
They actually, so two things. Number one, they actually did redesign the levels a little bit. There's these cool glowing eggs everywhere. There's also little eggs that you can find and you can pick up, and each one has a different purpose. There's like a yellow egg which just knocks them down, but it's so fun because I couldn't stop egging this dude because every time the egg would break and the yolk would go everywhere. There's like a red one that actually kills them with like poison gas. There's a blue one that knocks them out. And then there's a green one that makes them sick. So But yeah, some of the paths that you traveled before in the game are actually a little bit blocked off and kind of force you to go a certain way. But for the most part, it's pretty much the same level.
I love this comment from Tiffany here. She says, "Yeah, Hitman is supposed to be stealth. Dave attempts that. AJ does that. Brian lasts 2 minutes and then turns into the Joker."
Pretty much.
That's pretty accurate. That's just about right.
Pretty accurate.
AJ, I love this description of the smaller exits you find because for a second I was like, is this going to go in a Boy and His Blob direction where you throw like different colored jelly beans and they do different things? Yeah. But it sounds like it's a little more direct than that, more like status effects and stuff.
Right. So it plays into the strategy, plays into the gameplay some. So it's the look, the gameplay, the targets, all of it is kind of redesigned for this. They put some work into this for sure.
And just so we know, this is limited time, I assume, right?
Limited
when
time.
When does it end? What's
I
the
don't
last
know
day for it?
exactly. I think it's
Easter
like
isn't until Sunday, so at least a little while.
You'd assume it's for the month, I'd guess. I mean, we'll have to check, but
I actually don't think it's that long.
Oh,
I think I'm picturing 2 or 3 weeks.
It's on my thumbnail. Somebody look at my thumbnail.
You made the thumbnail.
While we're looking for thumbnails, I want to give a shout out to Scott Jesco, PSN Harry Fellow, the PSVR Game Cap for Life. I'm wondering if he's still here, or if we're talking to future Scott Jesco. But either way, thank you so much for the tip. He says, "Hi, gentlemen. Hi, Game Cats. Question: what
Scott Jessica.
Future Scott Jesco,
Future Scott Jessica.
or present Scott Jessica? We don't know. What's your best guess at the name of the new VR HMD and controllers? I'm going for Orb Sense for the controllers." I'm sticking with PSVR 2, just to keep things simple. And then, yeah, what do you guys think?
I don't know. The Move Sense, the Sense controllers, something like that. I don't know.
I like the move sense. I think just the orbs. Like I just love the orb controller. I love the name a lot. That's what I've been sticking with. So, and then for the headset, I did a poll actually, and everybody voted. There was 3 choices for your preference, and it was PSVR 2, PS5 VR, and Don't Care, Just Gimme.
Don't care, just gimme.
The majority, 54%, I think it was, said PSVR 2 is what they would prefer. And then 24% said Don't Care, Just Gimme, which actually slightly edged out PS5 VR at 20%, which was, PS5 VR. I'm going to stick with PSVR 2, but after doing this poll, there was one more name that I thought about that I was like, you know what? I could have added this one, and that's PlayStation XR, just in case there is some kind of XR integration.
Oh, mixed reality stuff with it. Yeah, I think
but I'm going to just go with PSVR 2 and the orbs.
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm going to stick with PSVR 2 just to keep things simple. We've talked pretty much ad nauseum about that. But as far as I think Sony probably wants to remove themselves from the name Move. Moves. I don't think they want to, because Moves have such a bad reputation at this point. You know, if they say the Move Sense or the Move 2.0 or anything like that, you just want to. I think you just want to get away from that name. K-Panic, the Game Cat adjacent anomaly with the $3 tip says VR Sense controllers. Note it, and I'm okay with that. I think I'm gonna go with that. It is funny that PlayStation on the blog specifically referred to them as the orb shape, right? And I think that's where everybody's going with that. And it wouldn't bother me at all. Orb does sound like very futuristic.
The orbs.
Did we find the thumbnail by any chance? Did we find out when the?
It's April 12th.
April 12th. Sorry.
April 12th.
No, I don't listen to people talk. I need to work on that. Cool. Are there any rewards? Are there any rewards for completing this thing? That's the most important thing.
Usually there are rewards. I don't know if it's the yellow bunny suit or what, but again, I got to the very end and just had enough. Like it was very challenging, and like really, like I didn't want to stop, but I was just like, I really want to play this. You know, I didn't want to keep repeating the same thing over and over on stream, driving everybody crazy. So,
I got you. All right. Casual Friday, guys. Casual Friday. I gotta get out of my relaxed position. Get ready for the next topic, and the next topic, of course, is actually brought to us by. This is gonna be. You guys ready for this? This is from a comment on PSVR Theater, right?
Oh wow!
When was there a PSVR Theater?
The comment was posted today. by Silver Winged One, watching a very old show that we used to do. We haven't done it for a couple of years now, and wrote, I wish Square Enix would come out with a full Final Fantasy game in VR. Well, today, you certainly didn't get your wish. I apologize. It's somebody's messing with us, but yeah, an actual JRPG style game came to PlayStation VR today called the Knight of Queen, the KNIGHT.
One of the worst names I've ever seen in my life.
It's a translation thing. It's the Japanese game originally.
Yeah, it's a bad name.
They sure did. They sure did. Big time.
You should have heard David Moore's reading the description of this game. Do you have the description anywhere?
Oh yeah, I've got it up on here somewhere. I was just looking at it on Steam a second ago.
Funny story behind this game.
Oh yeah?
Funny story. Yeah. They well, real quick, the Wolf Craze with the 10 donation says, "Stay relaxed, brother. It's Friday."
Yeah, it feels like a day where I just want to put my feet up. It's been so crazy. Not to go on and on about this. Thank you so much, Wolf Craze. I feel like it's like a pizza kind of day. I was up late getting that PSVR AF video done, that promotional video. Sitting there going, why am I making a promotional video? I need to be making the actual video, like the actual videos from Monday. Clackety clack. So yeah, it's definitely been a long day, a long night, and just want to kick back and relax and hang out with all the cats. So I might actually stream this game later tonight after we're done and I've had a chance to eat something. So tell me what the backstory. Tell me the description on the store. What do you got for me?
Once sealed in time by the legendary hero, the Devil King arises, and the world is on the brink of losing peace once again. You as the Queen's Knight. It's like every fucking RPG ever. Let's see. With an old school system feel, lets you play right away without any learning. That's cool. Relive your imagination in your youth, diving into the imaginary world with VR. Experience a sense of reality that cannot be reduced on a TV or smartphone screen. That said, it's also out on Switch today as well.
That said, it's also playable in non-VR on PlayStation 4. You have to hit the touchpad to transfer. Okay, continue. Sorry.
So, one thing I'd like to point out that this is brought to us by, of all companies, VR RPG Inc. So they know what they're doing over there. VR RPG Inc.
So they made a game as generic as their company name.
Exactly.
They lived up to their name. Big time. I just want to give a quick shout out to Jay Meow, by the way, with a $2 tip. He uses this opportunity to write hashtag bring back PSVR theater. One day, man. One day. Absolutely. So, AJ, you spent more time in this game than any of us today. I've only spent about a half an hour in it. What did you think about it?
Man, this is a tricky one because I was expecting something.
Is it tricky?
It is kind of tricky.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
So look, Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, and this is slightly better.
The story's pretty epic. I can't deny that.
So this is like. It is like a Microsoft basic, somebody was like, you think this was made in Unity? And I was like, this was probably made in Microsoft Paint. It's super generic. It is super bare bones. There's no textures. It's just polygons and colors. The locomotion is god awful. It's like scoot.
We're describing it as stutter step locomotion, and they all hated it. Everybody was like, this game's decent, but I hate the locomotion.
The funny thing here though, guys, is that there's something about it that I'm actually kind of enjoying. It's one of those it's so bad that it's kind of I'm enjoying it in a way, because I'm so starved for turn-based combat and stuff. I loved Operencia, which shits all over this. But I still loved, nobody really gave Operencia a chance. And I really loved it. And with this one, I can't say it's a very good game. It has it's almost like stripped down Pokemon or something like bare bones stripped down Pokemon, except you don't actually collect anything. You just fight it. But there is like leveling up, and there is weapons that you purchase and upgrade, and magic spells that you use, and items that you can use. And so it actually has some like kind of okay things. It's just that I don't know. It's not very good, but it's like I kind of like it for some reason, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Donatello, the scientist game cat with the $5 tip, says, I hope you can interview the creative devs that came up with enemy names like Woody and Yellow Bird. I hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Donnie.
Well, I can tell from what you're saying about this that I'm excited to stream it actually now. I want to get in there.
Baggio 10 says this looks like a Game Boy Color game in VR. It feels like a Game Boy game in VR. But it's even more bare bones.
It's okay, so let's clarify. It's a $5 game.
Yeah.
Was it 5 or 4? $5, I think, right?
$5.
$5.
And according to the reviews, it's like a 4, maybe 5-hour game. And it's like, man, I don't know. Like, I started playing, and I was like, this is terrible for so many reasons, but I need to keep playing. Like, I need to see where this goes. And it's just so basic and just simple. And there's something about it that, like, you guys remember 3D Dot Game Heroes?
What does that sound familiar?
It was, yeah, I think it was Age Tech or something. ASCII.
Yeah.
ASCII?
PS3?
PS3, yes. And it really reeked of like Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, if you like kind of converted it all and turned all the pixels into voxels and made like a 3D world out of it. And this
I think.
Oh, absolutely. It was a great homage, and I loved it. It was almost breathtaking to play that game. It just looks beautiful. And they could have done that with this. There's no reason they couldn't have done that with this. Like, all they had to do was just add some textures and, some depth of field effects and, like, just do something.
Hey, Brett, slow down. Who are you to tell VR RPG Incorporated how to make a VR RPG, man? Like,
I'm motherfucking Brian Pollio.
You're out of line, buddy.
I know.
They clearly know what they're doing. It's all in the name.
You're absolutely right. I should know my place in the world, and my place in the world is at the bottom of this VR RPG ladder. But yeah, no, I would just like AJ was saying, I was like leveling up, and I was like, ooh, I leveled up, and then like my health restored and stuff when I leveled up, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go kill some more dudes before I move on to the next area and level up again. And it's like I saw a treasure chest out in the distance, and I was like, I wonder how many random battles we have to fight before I get to that treasure chest. And there was something addictive about it, even though there's no way this is a good game by any stretch of the imagination. But I was having some fun playing it, and so it's also the only real JRPG we have, and I use real in the loosest possible sense. There's no other game really like this. It just makes me sad that it's been 5 years since PSVR debuted and we haven't gotten something better.
Yeah. Zenith is on the way. This is a game that I would recommend to absolutely nobody, but I'm probably going to go and play it some more later.
This is the Deadland of 2021.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
The JRPG Deadland.
Yeah, so if you are interested, like I said, I'll probably be giving this some time later on stream. I've been meaning to stream something else this week after my 6-hour Doom stream, and I guess it's finally time to dive into something radically different. So this exists. I think that's the moral of the story. It exists.
Yeah, it exists.
and you probably shouldn't buy it, but strangely we're enjoying it.
No.
So, man, oh man. Not the only news that we've gotten recently. Also, something that has a little bit of a bigger budget, a little bit more production values is Hellgate VR, which again, just like I don't know why PSVR Theater keeps coming up today, but we actually previewed Hellgate VR on an old episode of PSVR Theater, and which means it was like 3, maybe 4 years ago when this thing first debuted. Have you guys had a chance to watch the trailer for Hellgate VR?
I didn't, but I looked at the Steam page, and I got to tell you, people don't like this game. Nobody fucking likes this game.
How has this been in development this long?
It's got like a 4 out of 10. It's funny that of these two games we're talking about, like, actually, The Night of Queen has like an 8 out of 10 on Steam.
Okay.
So I guess you could say it's more exciting and more worth looking forward to because this. I don't know.
Well, this also is like a $35 game on Steam for some reason.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I don't know the length of it, but I do know that people are complaining about pretty much everything about it. In terms of it being, all the levels are really small, really confining. It is a rail shooter based on Hellgate. It's not even like Hellgate London. Apparently, is a game you could spend hundreds of hours in. Like, I've never played Hellgate London, but this is sort of like I don't want to say a cheap ripoff or a cheap cash grab because it's been in development for 4 years. You got to wonder what they've been doing over there if they came out with a product like this. But I don't know.
I did see the trailer, Brian, and I think I actually love the art style.
Yes.
I think the art style looks so cool. Takes me back to like Vampire Knight, which I talk about all the time. The problem with this game is that the trailer, the gameplay itself, those games were fun to play as well, and they had like mechanics. The problem with this one is that like I love the art style and everything, but the gameplay itself looks so boring and like just unappetizing to me. Like it just looks like point and shoot, and just nothing exciting going on with the gameplay, which is a shame because I feel like there's so much potential for a game like this. But no, it just the gameplay itself just looks really bad, and I think that's what most people hate about it.
Yeah, I think Rush of Blood taught us that like you can actually take a decent IP and do something a little bit different with it in VR. This is exactly a one-to-one comparison, really, because Until Dawn had this pretty cool world and all these like characters that somewhat developed over the course of the game, and then they just kind of like eschewed all of that and said, fuck it, man, we're just gonna like go nutso with our IP and send you on a roller coaster ride through different like scenarios and just shoot your guns and hope you survive. In this, I feel like this maybe wasn't a bad use of the license. It just seems like bad execution of the idea, which is a real shame because again, if it's been in development for this long. I felt like this was one I have a list of games, probably 100 different games that we've previewed on PSVR Theater or many other times throughout the course of the last 5 years that just disappeared, and we just went, yep, that's probably never coming out. And this was one of those games, and then boom, here it is back. It's on PC and slated for PSVR. Like, what happened? What happened? I would love to know the story about what's going on with this game. Maybe we'll never know.
I'd like to see the story of it turning out to be really good, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see enough variety in the gameplay.
And $35. Like, I mean, I don't even care if the game's like 20 hours long. Like, if it's garbage, it's garbage, right? And that seems to be the consensus over on the PC side right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I've got my fingers crossed. We always hope for the best with games, but I am not terribly hopeful right now for that.
Hey, I mean, Night of the Queen turned out all right.
Oh God.
Well, and I know we were all anxiously anticipating that game. I'd never even heard of that game until this morning. I woke up and on Discord, Orseek was there telling me like that it was just it was just on Switch and being like, I was like, didn't even realize this thing existed before today, and here it is on this PlayStation Store. Makes me miss the drop, man. The drop at least would be like, hey, here's right? Yeah. Here are the games coming out this week. It
wasn't always right. Like half the time it was wrong, but at least it was something. Yeah.
And there always seemed to be VR games that were hidden in the list that weren't listed as PSVR games, like Pancake House. It's like like I saw that in the list and I was like, well, that sounds silly. And then it turned out to be a VR game. I was like, I should have paid more attention to that. And then I realized that I shouldn't have paid more attention to that. I think we should talk about some better games that we have news about. And most of that comes to us from Perp Games, who announced we've got some physical releases to look forward to. You guys excited for Mask Maker?
I'm cautiously curious. I don't know about excited. It's from the same people who did Fisherman's Tale, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it looks like it's got a similar kind of recursive puzzle gameplay where like there is some kind of, it's not just like a regular puzzle game. They're like, we're going to make it interesting.
Right.
But I don't know enough to be super hyped one way or the other. I liked Fisherman's Tale for what it was, but it was short and didn't leave a big lasting impression. I didn't want to go back and play it or anything afterwards. So we'll see.
Well, the announcement that was given to us from Perp Games was that they are doing the physical version of this on June 18th, if memory serves, and which is I always feel bad, man, when Perps has this delayed release schedule where everybody wants to play a certain game. This game is coming out in 18 days, coming out on 4/20, April 20th, and then it's almost 2 full months until Perp releases. Yeah, I know everybody's got a fucking trippy ass game to play on 4/20. So roll them if you got them. But then it's like 2 months. Who out there is interested in this game? And please tell us in the comments if you are. But then is willing to wait 2 months to buy the physical version, which is per game that's likely to be like $20. I don't see people waiting for that, and I always feel bad that Perp gets the short end of the stick on their release schedule, and I don't know exactly what's happening over there to cause that. But AJ, you excited for this one?
I wasn't a big fan of the Fisherman's Tale, but I did think it was very charming. I think you said something about if this has those Metroidvania kind of mechanics, I might kind of like it, but come on, guys, it's like I'm so tired of puzzle games. Like I need something else.
There's never enough puzzle games in AJ's world.
Friday night, and we just said puzzles.
I'm so tired of like slow, story-driven. So take you to an enchanting place, and okay. I don't got to be shooting something, but okay.
I don't got to be shooting something, but okay. Yeah.
If it has that Metroidvania mechanics, and I will say the world looks really cool. So yeah, it depends. The puzzles have to be impressive.
Yeah,
puzzles have to impress me.
I think Jamie Feltham was the one over on Upload VR talking about the Metroidvania mechanics. So we've got to trust him on that. And after that Doom review, I don't think we trust him on just about anything.
I love you, Jamie, but no.
I had some of his impressions before I spent more time with it. And at first, when I read it, I was like, okay, I can see where he's coming from. And then now that I've gotten more into it, I'm like, okay, well, I would have been more generous.
He loves Fisherman's Tale, he loves Paper Beast, and those they're fine, but they just weren't for me. And so, I don't know.
Jamie Feltham is the anti-Brian Paul. Like, pretty much anything I love, he's like, nope. And so, and I'm okay with that.
On Twitter, what would you put on your Mount Rushmore of VR games? And Ghost Giant was on his list. And I was like,
how many figures are on Mount Rushmore? 4? Okay.
Did you have to ask me how many people are on?
I didn't know if it was 4 or 5. I didn't know if Trump actually got his face up there finally or not.
Not yet.
Okay. So, hey, buddy. Who? Now that we're on this topic, he said Ghost Giant, and do you remember the other 3?
I don't know off the top of my head. I just remembered. I was like, oh, at least somebody's still holding the torch for Ghost Giant.
What are your 4? Do you guys have 4 that you would put on your Mount Rushmore?
That's I'll have to think that through.
Oh man, I would say at least one of them would be the first time you see a zombie in Resident Evil 1, the one that's like hunched over the dude. It switches to CG, and like all you see is the back of his head, and he's like, and then he turns around really slowly to face the camera, and that head, definitely number 1, right up there. That zombie head, exactly replicated from CG, is definitely on my Mount Rushmore, possibly along with here we go, old school point-and-click adventure games, Bobbin Threadbare from Loom, which is basically just a hood over a face that you can't see, but big blue eyes that are peering out from the darkness.
Mega Man, Simon Belmont.
Yeah,
this was supposed to be VR stuff, guys. This is a VR question.
Oh.
That's why he said Ghost Giant.
Oh, okay.
And it's not actually people or mascots.
Quill.
There you go.
Yeah, Astrobot, whatever.
Quill, Astrobot.
There's got to be a Mervil up there, right?
No, Mervil. It's got to be what's his name, the father in Resident Evil,
Jack.
Jack. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. Hugh Guyver with the $2 Australian says PSVR without parole. Fire. Cousin Max says hi. What is up, Hugh Guyver? Well, thank you so much for the donation. We appreciate you, Cousin Mac, man. So yeah, Mask Maker was the first one, man. You gotta wait 2 months for the perp version though. The other game that strangely sort of got announced.
Oh, sorry, hold on. We got to put Candy Love and Cookie Pie.
There you go.
Oh yes. This is now the without parole Mount Rushmore VR. This is. I don't think anybody else would agree with us. but I
So
like
sorry, everybody watching.
it. What happened? The other game that is coming to Perp Games physically is Solaris Off-World Combat. Now, this is very interesting because we have yet to get a digital release date for this. It keeps getting pushed back and back and back. I think it was supposed to be Q1 at one point, and now it's just sort of like soon. And they're saying June. Yep, in Perp for the physical version. So now the question is this going to be a Perp situation like Golem, where it was day and date, where we got the Perp version the same day as a digital version, or is it going to be something like Mask Maker, where there's almost 2 solid months, which would mean Solaris is almost here?
I don't think they can wait that long on Solaris, honestly. But I do see why it's taking longer, because the response on Quest has kind of been like, well, it was okay. I couldn't matchmake with my friends. It still needs this. It still needs that. The environments are samey. Like, nobody was blown away the way people were with Firewall when Firewall came out, right? And I don't know anybody who has access to Solaris who plays it the way that we all used to play Firewall. And I don't know. I think they need to add more to it before the PSVR release to get people excited. And if that's what they're doing, hopefully by the time it drops physical, it has all that stuff on the disc, and it's just like part of the game. But we'll see. I don't know. Anybody who's played Solaris recently, let us know in the chat if it's still in that state or if they've spruced it up a little bit or what.
They're also getting themselves into a little bit of a scary situation here because, we've been waiting for some, 4v4, 5v5 action. Firewall was kind of it. We had some Honor and Duty D-Day to keep us distracted for a bit, but we've been dying for something like bigger. And Alvo has been creeping up on us for a while, and that release date is right around the corner. So
10 days from now, right?
I don't think we...
we don't have a specific release date. I swear I saw it announced somewhere.
Yeah, Upload VR had it on their release calendar, but it was incorrect.
Okay.
So
Got it.
Yeah, so it's soon, and that's all we're gonna say about that. And so they are set to like kind of dominate this space. And if Solaris comes out the week after, the month after, or something, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get back on top the way they did with Firewall.
No, I mean, once Alvo's out there and people are playing that regularly, the demand for Solaris is going to go way down. I mean, it's a different style. It doesn't have that like military shooter thing. It's more spacey and sci-fi. But really, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be able to beat Alvo. What are you laughing about, AJ?
Yeah, right.
K-Panic.
Constantly.
K-Panic, the game cat adjacent.
Nope.
No,
Yeah,
we lost him. He's all froze.
He's totally frozen. Here, put something in his mouth. Hurry, put something in his mouth.
It's that Tennessee internet.
It is the Tennessee internet.
Oh, wait.
Okay,
Back.
AJ, the last thing we heard you say was...
Am I back?
Yes, the last thing we heard you say was K-Panic.
K-Panic, the game cat adjacent anomaly, says, I want Alvo on World Combat. And yeah, man, I had said this before, that the second Solaris was announced, I was like really surprised that they decided to go into a small sci-fi shooter, arena shooter direction.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was what there was demand for it. And yeah, I don't know.
I mean, so Hyperdash is a similar style, but is a much, much more well-received game. And I think like I can see what they were going for with that style of game. But yeah, they didn't really hit the mark from what I could tell at launch, at least.
Yeah. I hopefully, like you said, hopefully they have more fleshed out content and stuff by the time it comes around. I know like maybe one person, 2 people at most that are like, hey, you should really be looking forward to this, but majority of people have already left it.
Are they named Frank? Those people?
Okay. They're not.
Just asking.
Yeah, I think, I hate to speculate about why any developer does anything. No, that's not true. I love speculating. I think the reason, at some point, First Contact must have been like, God damn, these detailed maps are so difficult to make. Like, they must be so time consuming and just like occupy so many resources. And you're putting it out for free content. You're just hoping that like more people join as you put out more free content. But if you look at something like District was one of the original ones, right? And it was just, there's so much detail in every single corner of that map, and it's so unique. You don't see those pieces of the map anywhere else. And then you started to quickly see the maps they would release would sort of start recycling areas of other maps, or they'd be like, covered in sand and stuff. It's sort of like different ways to mask the fact that there's less detail in these maps. And so you've got to wonder if they were like, hey, if we do this sci-fi inspired shooter, then like all of our maps can just be like flat polygons with like reflections and lighting, and like we'll just make it sci-fi, and that'll be real easy. We don't need as much detail. That's my little conspiracy theory as far as that's concerned, as to why they went in this direction. To be like, we can make more content this way. We can push this game out faster. We can do all these things. And I think it might have backfired on them. District was cool, man. I need more District maps.
So the thing is, I still enjoyed a lot of the Firewall maps that came out. But like you said, there were elements where you'd be like, oh, this map is like this plus this, with a little dash of this on top, where they were kind of remixing stuff together. But there was still a little bit enough unique about each level and the layouts and stuff that it was worth checking them out.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree.
The last one, I think the most recent one was the one that's like the underground base with like the press studio and stuff in there, where they've got the green screen and everything set up.
That's good.
I thought that had some interesting parts. There's like a big kind of open, like mechanical, like almost like a factory area in there that's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, they did a decent job with those, but Solaris looks like, just.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah. MRI says, I wonder if they'll leave this game broken for months, too. That did happen.
Right. Decepticon says, pretty sure Firewall 2 is coming. You got to wonder, if let's continue conspiracy theories. You got to wonder if this is kind of like a stopgap game for them. They're like, well, let's just put this out and make some money while we're developing our next big, modern military shooter.
If this is their curious tale of stolen pets, then yeah, more power to you. That's great.
I just got to imagine if you're the people over at Oculus or whatever, and you're like, okay, so you guys did pretty good for Sony over there with that Firewall game. We'd love to have an exclusive from you guys. Come over, we'll hook you up, and then they get Solaris and not Firewall. You know what I mean? Like, They got to be kind of a little disappointed with that, because Firewall was one of the big selling points. Like, if you've got an aim controller, you've got to have it. And there were people who didn't like anything else that was out on offer, but you put them in a 4v4 tactical military shooter that you can replay with your friends, and there's leaderboards and all this shit, then people are all in. That's all they would play. I don't know anybody who just plays Solaris, but I have known many people who just play Firewall. So I think they kind of missed the boat on this one.
For sure. So I wonder if it has to do with like when it came out and what was available to play. Quest has sort of had like a handful of other games to play, as far as this stuff's concerned. And when Firewall came out on PSVR, there wasn't and still isn't really too much like it. So who knows, man?
Yeah.
Guys, then the final news story of the day comes to us from Sin Studio, who kind of is teasing their Dismemberment update. It looks kind of incredible. I feel like we were questioning a lot of things in terms of like what this update would look like, how goofy would it look, and I got to say, looking at this little teaser here, it looks awesome. I mean, it's like a 5-second clip of video, but guys, what do you think? Do you think it's as cool as I do?
Yeah, it looks like a ton of fun. I mean, the way he pokes the head, like it's I think I said to you, it's like Fruit Ninja physics. Because in Fruit Ninja, you can poke the big piece of fruit, and it would stick on the end of your sword. And you're doing the same thing with hands here. But yeah, it looks suitably gory.
I didn't see it till right now, and that looks ridiculous.
Right?
That looks really... That's kind of what I wanted. Yeah, I wanted it to be this brutal gladiator, more brutal and everything. And I'm like, again, not to sound like broken record, I'm not usually like a big gore guy, but this game needs it. Like, it would be such a good fit with it. And I think this is going to make people go absolutely nuts. This looks like exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, I was, like I said, are they going to go Gorn with this? Are they going to go realistic with this? Are we going to have to hack away at somebody's head before it falls off? And this seems like this 5-second clip does exactly what I wanted to do. It's like the blood spurts out, the head goes flying, there's blood everywhere. I mean, to me, this is literally what I was hoping to see. And this update is very, very close. I think they were saying April 5th. For this update that also comes with, this is a Dismemberment update, by the way, the thing everyone's been asking for. It's not just decapitation, it's Dismemberment too. and then is also coming with the pirate faction update. So it's like, man, this game just keeps getting better and better. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, man. Release the Kraken. Let's go.
Decepticon says needs grabbing, and I agree, man. Like, let's just keep adding to this game until it's like, let's get every single thing that everybody's asked for. Yeah. Now it's Ryan, the game feline says the blood spurt is what sells it. Again, agreed. I do think that it's just well done. That's what we're hoping for. Super Galaxy Godstar says, man, I'm still trying to get used to you guys' new schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. So it was so weird. It was so weird not having a show yesterday. Like, I was hanging out in voice chat and people were like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to do. It's Thursday night. I'm so confused by everything. Shout out to GC13, the Diet Pepsi Cat, with a $20 tip. Says, hope the new 3 days a week format is working for you guys because I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Great job keeping the channel fresh. Unicorn and Rainbow. If you guys didn't know, that's a teaser. What to expect in the next Saints and Sinners update. Unicorns and Rainbows, big time. That's all we've been asking for.
Zombie unicorns. PS5 patch. Brass knuckles. City. Chainsaw.
I'm just
The tower.
Jetpacks.
List of things
Tower.
that AJ wants to do to a unicorn. Beat him up with brass knuckles, cut him in half with a chainsaw.
Exciting, intense boat ride with zombies crawling up on it.
Yeah, right. That boat ride at the beginning of the game. It's like you get to shoot like 3 walkers and then a cutscene. Like, oh, but I want to.
That where they're popping up and grabbing you and you gotta fight them off.
Saints and Sinners, Rush of Blood.
This is what you get for donating.
Dude, for real, can we actually call the update The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Rush of Blood? And it'll just be like you on a boat, and it's like just a boat ride, and all you're doing is shoot. Okay, you know what? We should probably end the show. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been an awesome day and like real nice laid-back Friday kind of casual thing going on here. Absolutely love all of you guys hanging out with us. Don't forget that just a few days from now, Monday, I can't believe it's so close. Monday, April 5th is the beginning of April, is PSVR AF. It's 3 days in a row, 20 minutes each day of nothing but PSVR goodness, noon Eastern. So make sure you tune into the channel. I'm going to set it as a premiere, so I get to actually watch it with you guys and comment live alongside of you. Watching all of your disappointment in action will be excellent. I can't wait. We've got a lot of developers are taking part in this, and I'm really, really thrilled to share some of the stuff that they've shared with me. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun, so please don't forget. And that's it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Dave over at Dave Station VR. Still doing Doom streams?
I might do another one, but I think this little funky RPG might have to be the next one.
Okay, I don't want to get in the way of you streaming, so we'll talk after the show, and because I want to stream it tonight too, so maybe we'll flip flop on that.
Oh, well, like I said, I got a friend that's sleeping on my couch actually right now, so I may not stream.
We'll definitely keep you posted, and then of course AJ, the king of No Man's Sky. Make sure you go subscribe to him over at PSVR
I'm going to go play No Man's Sky after this.
Right, I'm so glad for you. I'm very, very happy that everyone's internet is working again. Guys, you're all the best. Cats, you're all the best.
Sirens on my end. I don't know if you can hear them. There's sirens on my end. You probably can't hear them.
Only slightly. Is that a first?
Yeah, it is actually. I think it is.
Awesome.
Not ever. I've heard sirens plenty of times, just never during the stream.
Of course. Meanwhile, I never not hear them during the stream. Guys, don't forget to consider supporting the channel on Patreon. That's how we keep the lights on over here, patreon.com/withoutparolegames, and then you get your list on that awesome Patreon ticker down below that runs nonstop throughout the course of the show. I haven't updated it for this month yet, so get your support in, and it'll be updated for the next show. And of course, join our Discord server. That is 100.
They're really out here.
Yeah,
they're really out here.
They're at your house.
It sounds like it. I don't know.
That's right. Join the Discord. That is totally free. Join the conversation 24/7. All good stuff. We love you so much. Have a great weekend. We love you all. Meow, meow, meow.
Have a great weekend, y'all.